All right, let's see if we can get you guys started in TinkerCAD today. So TinkerCAD is a great design program that's relatively simple that allows you to make simple shapes for 3D printing, like this cool dinosaur there, or laser cutting, like this cool little cityscape here. To get started, we've got to get you signed in. So in the top right-hand corner, we'll click Sign In. And if you're using your school account, which you should be, you could just say Sign In with Google. And you might be prompted to hit your password, a username and password, or I'm already signed into my Google account, so it's just going to pop up with the main TinkerCAD interface, like this. If you want to start a brand new file, you can click Create New Design. That's probably what you want to do this first time out. However, I'm going to click on this super simple wrench that I've been working on, just so we have something on the screen for this introduction video. I'm going to click on Tinker This. It's kind of like the edit button in other programs, so it's going to allow me to get in there and change my existing drawing. And there you see it, my super simple wrench. Alright, so the purpose of this video is to get us comfortable with the workspace, moving around using a mouse or a touchpad, and just kind of figuring out what's going on with this program. So I'm going to start by showing you how to move around. I have a mouse plugged into my computer right now, and that is such the way to go. It makes it super duper easy. You can move around using a touchpad, but I'll show you how to do the mouse first and then the touchpad, and you're all going to run and grab a mouse so that it's easy for you. All right, if I want to zoom in, I can use the little mouse wheel. To flick one way, I'm zooming out. Flick the other way, I'm zooming in. If I right click, I can orbit. So orbit means to move around in three directions, or 3 dimensions. And so I can look at it from the side, from underneath, however I want. And then that little wheel in the middle of your mouse is also a button. If you click and hold that, you can pan. So you can pan left and right and up and down in your drawing. And with those 3 commands, pan, orbit, and zoom, you can get anywhere in your drawing super duper fast. Now, if you don't have a mouse, you can use these tools up here in the top left. The view cube works pretty well. You can just kind of click on it and move around, and that's going to be your orbit. You could click on the words top, and it would show it to you right from the top, or you can click on the corner of the cube and it shows you it from that kind of corner perspective. You can also just kind of get it back to a nice angle, so you get all jacked up in some funky spot. You just click on the little home and it takes you to the home view. The next button is the zoom extents, or fit all to the window, so it'll zoom you out to just the right level so that all of your drawing is in the window. And then you can zoom in and out using the plus and minus buttons over here. You can also switch from orthographic and perspective views. We can talk more about that a little bit later. But it is a heck of a lot easier if you have a mouse. So I recommend grabbing yourself a good 3-button mouse for today. All right, the rest of this screen here. So we have the big blue square there. That's called the work plane. That's where all the magic happens. And then over here on the right-hand side, this is the shapes panel. So right now we're showing the basic shapes. Sometimes these things are called standard primitives. They're standard shapes, things like boxes and cylinders and spheres. If you want to add one, you just click on it and drag it over onto the work plane. So there's a box, and there's a cylinder, and there's a sphere. Yep. Now these are just these basic shapes. You can open up this pull down menu, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, some things that are pretty darn interesting, but for right now we're just going to stick with the basic shapes. And with any of the basic shapes, whenever you click on them, you get a bunch of action going on here. There's a bunch of gray handlebars, they're called, that pop up. You also notice that there's kind of a faint blue outline when something is selected. So that tells you have something selected. If you want to select multiple objects, you could hold down Shift and click on the 2 objects, or you could also just kind of drag out a box and it will select whatever was in the box that you drag out. All right. Now if I just click on one of them, let's work on this cylinder. Select one of them, the handlebars pop up. I see the little blue outline, and if I click on the gray handlebars, or even if I just hover over the gray handlebars, I see that I can see some numbers, in this case 20 and 20. That means that this cylinder is 20 millimeters in width and 20 millimeters in length. Now if I want to change that, I could just click on this handlebar and start dragging it out. Or what I prefer to do is actually to click one time on the handlebar, and that allows me to go over and click in that number field. So if I wanted to make this cylinder a little bit smaller, I could go 10, and then I'll click over into the other one and go 10. And so now I have a 10 by 10 cylinder, or a 10 millimeter diameter cylinder in this case. Now if I want to change the height, there's another one of those little gray handlebars right up top there. And I can click on that, and I can just grab it and drag it wherever I want. But that's a little not quite accurate for me. I like to actually click on it and type in a number. So I'll go for a 10 on this one too. There we go. And then if you want to move stuff around, you can just click on it and move it around. Now, whenever you move it, it gives you a readout of where you're moving it in comparison to where you started it. You know, so now I'm at 100 and see if I can get it. Right. I'm at 100 and 100 millimeters away from where my origin point was. All right, a couple other things to look at in our intro video. In the top left corner, you're going to see a menu that has kind of all your classic operations: copying, pasting. This next one up here is duplicate and repeat. It's kind of like a copy multiple times to make like an array. We have delete, and then of course you can undo and redo any of your commands. Over here on the top right, these are very useful menus that are kind of specific to design programs. So show all, we'll get to that one a little later, but we can also group, we can ungroup, and then we can align, and we can mirror. So we'll see a lot more of these commands in use in the next video when I show you how to make the super simple wrench. All right, one last thing in the get to know you video here for TinkerCAD. What do you do when you're done with this thing? We want to save it. Now we could save it in an STL file, which would be great for sending over to the 3D printer. Or what I want you guys to be doing right now is just saving these as pictures and putting them up on your weekly blog post. To do that, I'm going to click on Send To. When I click on Send To, there's a few different things I can do with this, including sending it to some people that would 3D print my part for me. But right now I just want to hit this little download button, and it will download a picture of the work plane, and you can see it popped up right down there on the bottom of my browser. It's called Super Simple Wrench. It's a PNG file, and it's perfect to go up on my blog. All right, hope that's working out for you. In our next video, we're going to make this super simple wrench.